Hi, Tia. I'm looking over your draft right now. The title page is great, and what I tried to do is to copy and paste in your questions. Not having enough scholarly sources was one of your concerns. I think you're short one. You did supplement with a couple extra ones, but Internet Weekly and the I can't remember the other one off the top of my head aren't scholarly. So you could add one of those. Elaborating enough on summarizing the book too much. I don't think you have a problem there, but I have some suggestions for some movement change, some changes in structure. Stronger thesis. I think that your thesis might just need a transition. Something like therefore. Sorry, I had caps lock on. And then kind of move into humans need to take action, and you don't need the comma there. And then it would flow from your previous sentence. Oops, not there, therefore. Sorry about that. And then not enough transitions. I didn't notice that, but I did notice, the need to change some of the structure of the paper itself. Okay, so here's one of the things. I think that you could join these two paragraphs because you start with the whole concept of fossil fuels and you come back to it at the end, and you talk, you kind of move through the concept of greenhouse gases. Now, when you have a quote, or I'm sorry, a summary, you want to make sure that you put the period after the citation, just like you would with an actual quote. Now, here's my other question. This particular paragraph seems more like it's your counter. And so, with that, I think what I would do is move it to, just before your conclusion, and it needs a little more because you only really address um, the positives of computer molding. There's some positives with the other things that you're considering, technology, like automobiles, that kind of thing. So you might want to just generalize that there are positives, but the negatives, are clearly, creating a problem for us. And I think that one thing that you might want to do in answering this particular part, the computer molding, is use that line where you say, one thing is that an unanswered question Maselli left readers with is how much carbon dioxide is emitted through computer molding. So I think that this one could go as, kind of a response to your counter. We don't really know how much damage it's doing. But like I said, I wouldn't rely just on the computer molding as the only part of your counter. I would look at, how you can incorporate some of the other things that you talk about. Like e-waste or automobile usage or that kind of thing. um, and I think, like I said, that would expand your counter. Now, in this paragraph, you've got Google is very secretive about their energy consumption and carbon footprints. I know that that's important for us to understand in the sense that you're talking about how much a Google search generates, but it seems like maybe you want to lead into it like, something like, even though while Google is very secretive about their energy consumption and carbon footprints, comma, attempting two Google searches generates about 15 um, gigabytes of, or grams, I guess, of carbon dioxide. Sorry, I was thinking computer stuff. So I would put those two together so that it's not just kind of hanging out there. And then don't forget, if you have two authors, you want like Leak and Woods. um, actually, when looking at it a little further, I think that probably the counter should be moved up to the before you give the how to improve things. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put it in the wrong place the first time, but I think that it would make more sense dealing with the counter and then giving, the advice on how to eliminate, future harm to the environment, kind of like the solution to the problem. Now, one of the things that I want to do is service. Okay, so that is a person. I wanted to make sure before I put it in quotation marks that that particular citation is correct. Um, Beyond that, like for example, that particular source. Since lighting consumes, you want to join it. Also, just turning off the light when not in use will go a long way in protecting the environment since lighting consumes. So you kind of want to join these two sentences. But mainly, what I want you to do, and oh, and you need a comma before your year. But what I want you to do is check the cohesion into your citations, where I showed you a couple of them that needed, just that smoothing out. We looked at one in the beginning, and then one here, making sure that you have a comma after the author each time because that was one of the concerns. And then now that we've moved this particular paragraph, make sure that it flows. Make sure that you flesh it out so that it's a full counter argument. Now let's look at your references page. Okay, everything looks good. This will be 18 will be italicized because it's the volume number. Um, and let's see. Everything else looks good. So I think in general, oh, sorry, one more volume number, italics, need for italics. If you have questions as you're moving forward, let me know. I think you've got good information. I think the organization of it needs a little tweaking, and I think you just want to go back and make sure that your citations flow from your sentences and that everything's cohesive.